We know we can do better together. This is our chance to make Nashville a place where you want to stay and can stay. And I want you to stay.
New this morning, Nashville's mayor-elect is ready to get to work as he prepares to lead the city for at least the next 4 years. Freddie O'Connell live in studio with us this morning, talking about some of his priorities and his vision. Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations. How are you feeling?
I am up earlier than I usually am.
Does adrenaline keep you going at this point? I mean,
you had your coffee.
The energy is good, but the coffee helps. You know.
It's got to be a pinch yourself moment when the results come in and you realize that everything you've been working for is actually coming to fruition.
It definitely is, but I will say too, having had the opportunity to serve my hometown even in the capacity of being a Metro Council member for the past 8 years, there were so many times during that period too where you'd wake up and just think, wow, I mean, what an incredible opportunity to be involved in the conversation at this level. This is definitely something, you know, even a little more exciting.
So when you're getting ready to hit the ground running now, what do you think? Day one, top priorities for you?
So you heard a little bit of it last night. To me, one of the things that I have always seen, and I think this is why it's so great to have a balance of public and private sector, is so much of what I've seen in the companies that I've worked with that have been successful across the board is when everything is focused on customer service. I really want Metro to be one of the top tier customer service organizations. So we're going to be looking at that piece of how Nashville works. It is very true, though, that, I mean, we just heard a traffic report. We have two things we've got to do together, and one of them is traffic management. I mean, we're behind other cities in terms of how our traffic signals even work. So many of us get stuck at red lights when there's no traffic coming the other direction. That's a thing that we can resolve with technology, with coordination. We're going to work on that. The other is transit. I mean, this is the biggest missing ingredient we have as a major American city.
And that's where I was going to go with this, because we failed on a transit effort a few years back, big time. Did we try to bite off too much with one bite there, or why did that fall to pieces, and where do you pick it up from there?
So many things happened there, and so one, we had, and I knew this because I joined the Metro Council from the Nashville MTA Board of Directors, which I had chaired. We had a great strategic plan overall. We built a 3-year work plan on that, but instead of doing that and looking at the go big or go home approach, we just tried to shoot the moon. And then when we did it, there was a huge investment in light rail, things that Nashvillians have not seen on the ground here. Elements like a tunnel under downtown that, again, was never a part of any planning discussion. And then the hardest part of all, which I think we're still, I think last night is helping us maybe move into a future where we get to now focus on that rather than looking at where the past was we had a mayoral administration that fell apart right before the big referendum.
That's true.
And so taking all of those things together, we know there are near-term things we can do within our existing budget without talking to anybody about a referendum, but it may be 5 years later that, I'll say, we talked to tens of thousands of Nashvillians over the past year. We have seen the research. Transit is very popular in Nashville, and it's becoming more necessary as a cost of living offset for people that don't want to have to live out of county, want to be in Nashville, and the combination of rent and house prices and the fact that everybody right now, we kind of implicitly say you got to own a car.
A lot of old-time Nashvillians are being priced out of their own neighborhoods right now.
That's right.
So coming up on Monday, Metro Public Health is having an event where they're talking about crime and violence as a public health issue. How significant of an issue is that for you, and what's your main priority when it comes to addressing public safety?
Right, so I will say, I thanked Whitney Boone last night. She is my longtime partner. She is a pediatric neurologist at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. She sees in her work the impact of gun violence on young people. It is devastating. When I took office 8 years ago, long before the tragedy of a mass school shooting, we were still seeing young people impacted by violence. One of the hardest pieces of news yesterday was a shooting in the same community that I started to represent 8 years ago, where we had actually seen a lot of reduction because of strategic investments we'd made. But we had a youth violence summit that Lonnell Matthews, who is now our juvenile court clerk, worked on with Mayor Barry. There's a lot of good information in that. but I think the Metro Public Health Department is on the right track in looking at this as a public health measure. If you think about epidemics, one of the worst epidemics in the city right now is the number of guns being stolen out of cars. And it's something we, unfortunately, given where state law is right now, we have very little power. We can't issue a citation. Metro Nashville Police cannot do anything to try to encourage more responsibility other than saying, hey, secure your weapons.
We only have 20 seconds or so left. So can you real quick comment on the relationship between the state government and the city government, and if you look to bridge that?
We are very optimistic. I've had some incredibly encouraging conversations, even here in the home stretch. I got communication last night from several state leaders. I'll say for 8 years, we've had a bipartisan base of donors and voters, and I'm encouraged that the city can move forward as a partner to the state.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks for having me.
Long night, yeah. Okay,
Thanks
look
for
forward
being
to
up early and coming to join us.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate it.
seeing the administration take shape and first meeting and all the firsts that are coming up down the way.
Exactly.